So guys, our next topic is going to be about a massive YouTuber who's, well, massive at least to me as far as, his subscriber count, how many views this guy has, and just really the success that he has had on YouTube and kind of some of the things that happened to a guy named Boogie2988, which I'm sure most of you know who Boogie is at this point. This guy is a YouTuber that of course really got his start making some, hilarious videos by his character that he created known as Francis, and made some great videos. I think the first video I ever watched of Boogie's was, I forget what the title was, but he was playing as Francis, and Francis gets mad at the television and mad at his Xbox and absolutely smashes his Xbox and his television and such, and just that's kind of how I got my start in it, but those videos went viral, were absolutely huge, and so that's really where Boogie2988 got his start on YouTube. At least that's kind of where I kind of jumped into the whole thing. But I want to talk about what happened to Boogie, because obviously over the course of the past few years, whether it's his viewership or just his fan base and his haters, of course, as well, there's been a lot of change that's happened in Boogie's life, but it's also that, I want to talk about kind of what happened and kind of where Boogie might be headed at this very point. So let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So as I said, guys, Boogie has 4.39 million subscribers, which is unfathomable to me, at least. As a content creator, that is such a huge number. It's incredible. And I know on multiple occasions Boogie has said that 4.39 million subscribers, I mean, it's it's good, but it's not that great. He's a very humble dude, at least in my opinion. And to say the least, this is a huge accomplishment, absolutely massive. We go to, of course, when he joined, so his stats, he joined April 5th of 2006. This guy was one of the OG of OGs on YouTube, amassing over 871 million views, guys. And obviously, his channel, as is pretty much with any channel, out on YouTube, it's evolved over time. If you go over to his Wikipedia page, you'll kind of see some basic information about Stephen Williams, also known as Boogie2988. You can see some, of course, just different information about, obviously, a little bit about his personal life and things of that nature, kind of where he was born and all of that. We're not really going to get into that because you can kind of hear all that stuff. He's pretty open on his YouTube channel, so you can kind of watch those videos at some point. But what I want to talk about is the controversies. And so Boogie has been involved in several controversies, and this is just something, guys, that comes with the territory of being internet popular or internet famous. And that's just my personal opinion. It comes with the territory, right? There are always going to be controversies. We can talk about, some, Ninja tweets something out on Twitter, right? And everybody's going to be talking about it, whether that be positive or negative, because he's just that big of a personality and an internet celebrity to all of us. And so it's going to draw a mixed crowd. It just happens with anything. As the bigger you get as a figure on YouTube or on Twitch or just in the media in general, you are going to be under a microscope as to every little thing that you do. Now, Boogie, obviously, is one of those guys. He suffers from a number of, just mental illnesses, which I'm not going to really get into much here, but he has a hard time dealing with a bunch of scrutiny and people kind of bashing him for whether that be his content or just his personal life in general, saying that he's lying about his work and such, which we'll get into here in a moment, as the first controversy in October of 2018, which of course, guys, he's been involved in other controversies as well, but the more significant ones That being, Boogie faced scrutiny due to his relationship with the controversial counseling service BetterHelp. He and other YouTubers sponsored by the service were accused of profiting from mental illness, which led to Boogie publicly terminating his partnership with the company. So, look, guys, I've always said this about when it comes to anything at all, you always have to look at every story, anything that comes out revolving a controversy with a big YouTuber or Twitch streamer. You gotta take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt and make those judgments, based on your own personal take on it, right? So, instead of jumping to a conclusion as to every, because one person says that, they were profiting from mental illness, that means that that's definitely what happened. You have to kind of look at things, don't paint with a broad brush. Always look at these things and, kind of come to your own conclusions on them. And I'm not going to give you much of my own personal opinion on any one of these individual, controversies that Boogie was in, but I'm going to give you some reasoning as to why I really respect Boogie and I respect a lot of the content that he's put out there and shared, a lot of his personal life with us as an audience. And it just really comes with the territory, a lot of this stuff, guys. But another one, obviously, October 18th, he was, of course, involved in a controversy. And then in February of 2019, Boogie joked that he would make a better team leader over another player due to their parents' divorce. And so he correlated it with anger issues during a live stream of the game Apex Legends, and then he became the subject of criticism following these comments. And then in April of 2019, Boogie admitted to potentially committing tax fraud. He stated that he purchases Magic the Gathering cards for his channel, writes them off as a business expense, and then resells them without claiming the income on his taxes. The IRS states that income above $400 from self-employment must be reported. So, look, it's a controversy, but another part of it is that Boogie admitted it. Right now, it's another. He admitted to potentially committing, tax fraud. So, like I said, guys, don't paint with a broad brush at this point. Just kind of look at it for what it is. These are all very brief segments and snippets of kind of some of the things that he said and did. And I mean, people look at Boogie as that he really wants others around him to and really others as in us as the audience wants us to feel bad for all of his problems that he has. And what I'll say is this: Boogie's done a really good job of creating a fan base, creating a group of people that may have the same mental illnesses that he has. And guys, by the way, I truly believe that Boogie does suffer from these illnesses that he says he does, right? I just think that it's, when you look at, his story, his life, right? Whether some of it may be fabricated or not, the facts are the facts that he was an individual that was eating himself to death. And you can see that based on videos and things of that nature to show that, he weighed he's even said how much he used to weigh and what he's trying to do. And you can kind of follow that storyline of his. And you look at that, and obviously he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with himself. He's eating himself to death, essentially. And so when you look at someone that's like that, there's going to just naturally be problems. Whether we're talking with family or just internally, that being depression, bipolar disorder, the list can go on and on. You have to look at those things and really think to yourself, could this person be going through this, or is this all just something that's in there? Is it in their head? Is it something that they're just fabricating because they want people to feel bad for them? But I truly believe Boogie with a lot of this stuff. I really do. Now, some of it, he obviously has made some terrible decisions on social media. He lashes out at people and tries to defend himself when a lot of times I feel that you just need to be quiet on social media. There's times where you just don't say anything. He has a hard time with that, and it's gotten him in a lot of trouble. But what I will say is this, guys. Boogie has been consistently maturing, in my opinion, as a content creator, as a streamer. He seems to see what he's done wrong, right, and what he can do better moving forward. And there might be times where he's moving in the right direction and he takes a back step. And then he starts moving in the right direction, takes a back step, whether it's on social media or something of that nature. But guess what, guys? That happens to all of us. It's not just exclusive to Boogie2988. It happens to all of us, okay? We're all going to be making mistakes as we go through life, okay? Like, there's just going to be times where you're making strides forward, right? And then something happens that just gets to you. You get unmotivated for whatever reason, and something just really crawls under your skin, because every person has a tick, has a thing that really bothers them about themselves or about other people, whatever it might be. And you might end up taking a step backwards because you might say something that you regret saying on social media. Look, it's something that just, it's human nature, guys. We are, as humans, we are perfectly imperfect beings, right, on earth. And Boogie298, he's no exception. I'm no exception. And everyone else that you see, big or small, on YouTube, Twitch, we are people who, you know, all of us are the same. We're all people, right? Now, obviously, the paths that we take are different. And Boogie has gone down this path where his channel has turned into, from more of a comedy-based channel to a serious channel explaining the seriousness of mental health. And I think it's very good that there's a channel like that on YouTube where he can kind of express himself. But you want to know something, guys? I think it's disgraceful that people just get on Boogie so hard about the things that he says on his channel nowadays when he talks about mental health or talks about those things, because it's not that he's having a pity party, guys. It's that he's just trying to tell you and like how he feels as a person and how he's trying to get better as a person, and he's trying to motivate others to not make the same mistakes he did. And he's trying to motivate people that are maybe in similar situations as himself to get better with time, because it all takes time. And, you know, he created a vlog channel where he's vlogging, he's traveling more, and, you know, he's an open book. He really is. And sometimes that's to a fault, but I can't but respect a lot of what Boogie's done on YouTube. Myself, I don't really suffer from any type of mental illness. I know people close to me that do. I have anxiety. It's not significant, but I suffer from, you know, anxiety. You know, I just get anxious, right? You know, you just are thinking about things at night and your heart's racing and stuff like that, right? You know, so I can relate to some of the stuff. I think all of us can relate in one way or another. We shouldn't be tearing each other down, though, when we are stating how we feel on a platform as great as YouTube. It's called YouTube. It's something about you. It's your story, and Boogie's story has to do with these things. And even if he's fabricating, say, most of it, a lot of the advice he's giving is very good knowledge and very good things to have, whether you're trying to fight, you know, you're trying to fight weight loss, or you're trying to, you know, get more financially freed. You're trying to, you know, get on some kind of exercise routine, or you're trying to become, better at a specific game. Those are all things, guys, that, we're all striving to get better in different aspects of our life. And I think that his channel should be able to coexist on YouTube and not get the kind of backlash that he gets from a lot of people, whether it's on Reddit, wherever it might be. Look, guys, we got to build each other up. That's really what I want to get to. At the bottom line is, because what happened to Boogie, he's not really uploading quite as much on his main YouTube channel. Still does, but he doesn't upload as much anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of the backlash that he gets anytime he uploads really anything that he's kind of talking about himself, or just kind of talking about how he feels as a person. You ever think that maybe it makes him, feel good to just sit in front of a camera and just talk? Maybe he doesn't, like, it's just his way of kind of just explaining like what's going on in life. It might be it might be his form of therapy, right? Like, he says he talks to a therapist, but maybe speaking to a camera is easier for him than speaking to a therapist. Who knows? And all we got to do is just kind of listen and look, be supportive of one another. We're all in this thing together. Look, guys, I hope if you take anything from this, mental health is very serious. It's very serious. You should not be bashing this man who suffers from mental health, okay? Now, of course, you can criticize when there is room for that and when they do something, obviously, that's very controversial, but I gotta say that you just pump the brakes, all right? Let's build each other up. Let's not tear each other down. I think that's kind of like that's like a common rule, right? Like, we should just be building each other up. Let's do that. And I hope to see Boogie continue making, content, maybe evolve the channel, continue evolving it. I'm continuing trying to involve my channel. I think that we all have to do that as YouTubers, as people on this platform. We've got to be consistently evolving, figuring out what we did right, wrong, and what we can do better moving forward. But I even think that all of us, viewers, creators, whatever it might be, we got to look in the mirror and say what we can do right, wrong, and what we can do better moving forward. So guys, like I said, let's support one another and let's keep growing and being positive and spreading a positive mentality to everyone around us.